Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we will be discussing our top 5 movie scenes that we like. I think it's me probably all time. Me personally, we were just talking about this before hitting record. It was a tough one. When we first set out to do top 5, it could have been like a top 10 easily because I had at least 8 that were like shuffling between 2 to 5. So, it was tough, but ultimately I think I whittle it down to the top 5 here.
Yeah, no, this was a tough one. Easily could have made a top 10. There's a lot of fighting, a lot of reorganizing. 1 and 2 were solidified, but after that, man, it was rough. I don't even like my list now. I think I easily could make more tweaks.
Damn,
it's tough. It's tough out here.
Josh,
I'll start us off then. Hey, for me, I realized in making the movie scenes, that was probably the harder part of keeping it being movies and not accidentally including TV shows. But number 5 for me, which might seem as a weird one, but as a scene I loved seeing in theaters, I love now, and then TikTok randomly went on an edit trend with the scene, and that was Vision and Ultron at the very end, when Vision just says, "You're afraid," and Ultron's like, "Of you," and they're just kind of having this little debate going back and forth about humanity, and then it ends up with him saying, "Well, I was born yesterday." That scene, I don't know. I just loved it. That was my start of my love for Vision, and still holds up in my opinion. Definitely the best part of that movie.
Yeah, I don't think many are going to complain with that part.
yeah. The whole other part, though, that's a whole different story.
Nah, Hawkeye was solid.
He was good in that one.
Hawkeye's always been solid. Like, honestly, if there's any Avenger that should continue over from the OG one, keep giving Hawkeye in like a leadership role, and I'd be completely happy with it.
Okay.
It's a mentor.
I love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I'll go with my number 5. This one's a little bit, whatever, but it's Dark Knight Rises. When Bane is beating Batman's ass after Catwoman led him there, the fact that the two of them are teeing off and Bane's just talking shit along with like it being a good fight. I just love that scene so much of him just talking. Just there's so many quotable things in there that he says. Just obviously "I was born in the darkness" is just an elite line. Him wondering what's going to break first, your body or your spirit, just all that stuff with him doing the backbreaker at the end and having the cowl in his hand after his mask came off. I just think that scene's elite. A little bit cheating because it cuts away from that and then comes back, but it's the conclusion of that is when he drops him off in the prison, have him talking at the end of it, him ending like, "After I'm going to destroy your city, then you have my permission to die." Again, just a banger line. So I just, that scene of Bane just beating Batman's ass, I just think that's top tier.
Okay. All right. So, which one am I choosing for 5? This is it's a game time decision here. Oh man, it's so tough. The only reason I'm putting this at 5 is because it's the more recent one, so I'm gonna kind of consider this as like recency bias. But I gotta go with Paul Atreides versus Fade Rotha. That ending fight was just chef's kiss, masterful, shot well. They cut the music out at the perfect time. They built the tension up. I mean, everything from choreography, it was just everything you wanted in a climax fight you got in that movie, and that was just amazing. It just hurts that I had to put this at 5, but again, my thought process is it's the more recent one, so I feel like it's unfair to the other ones that have been out for a while to put it above those. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Okay. I'm curious if that is the only Dune appearance on any of our lists. My number 4 is, I would say, the only one that could be hitting some recency bias. But goddamn, I don't like musicals, but this musical got me. And obviously is the Ken musical, the Ken song. Just going into it, him saying he's Kenough. It's a banger. It was beautiful seeing it in the theater. Also, the audience that was around us, It's funny as shit, catches you off guard, and then just kept going and going and becoming more intense. I had to rock with that one as a number 4 for being funny and kind of a good song, actually.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, I'm gonna go Avengers Endgame, where Captain America saves Thor and learns that he can use Mjolnir. That scene always hits for me. I just think it's a combination of so many things coming together over the franchise's history that, you know, just this guy who was a mortal man now just, you know, has that power now, and then just goes one-on-one with Thanos, the greatest fighter ever, and is just piecing him up for a while of it. That scene will always give me chills when it comes on, because, I mean, like we said, that was, you know, Marvel should have ended after Endgame, obviously, but it was just coming together for that long and seeing that scene in theaters, and still anytime I rewatch it and I come to that scene, I just think that's amazing.
That is solid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that'll lead me directly into my number 4. I gotta go with the opening scene for Infinity War. I mean, that shit is like, that is just nuts. I mean, talk about a way of like setting the tone up for what these two films, like Infinity War and Endgame, were gonna be, and it delivered on everything. It raised the stakes. Obviously, before that, we had gotten like a bunch of solo movies, and finally, we're building up to the ultimate climax of what the Infinity Saga was gonna be ultimately. And obviously, you got that opening scene where Thanos kills half of the Asgardians and he kills Loki. And throughout that whole time, he is just dropping gem after gem after gem with quotes. And it's just like, damn. Like, okay. And then, like, obviously the beginning with the ominous music, and it's just like slowly coming in. You hear like the distress call. It's like, okay, we're finally moving in a certain direction, and I can appreciate it. And it was just the ultimate tone setter. So whereas my number 5 was like the ultimate climax, like this is how you end a movie, my number 4 is this is how you start one. So yeah, that was.
You could also say, you know, they killed Hulk there because that's the last time we saw
that too. Yep.
We saw Hulk
absolutely.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah.
He was dead.
Yeah, gone. Reduce the atoms. Yep.
All right. Well, my number 3 is one that I was reminded the other day of how much I love this scene. And it is, in my opinion, the funniest scene in any comedy movie of all time, just because it's so fucking random and hilarious, is Benedict Cumberbatch's alien scene in Zoolander 2, where he plays as a model that looks like a fucking alien and just appears there, speaks weird. It's only for like literally like a minute or two, but that scene every time fucking kills me. So I had to have at least one funny moment in my top 5, and it's up there.
Okay. Yeah, it's where he wears like a very long wig, right? And he's wearing like some fashion stuff.
Yeah, and his eyes are kind of spaced out too.
Yeah. Okay.
So for my number 3, it is the ending of Uncut Gems, where Howie wins the bet, and he's on this all-time high, and he opens him up from the vestibule, and they just shoot him right in the head, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. I just think this was one of the greatest ways to end a movie like this about gambling, obviously. I thought that was the perfect way to show that in that world there is no winner in gambling. You're never going to hit the big one and solve all your problems. I just thought it came out of nowhere. It was just so quick, and it wasn't like a stupid buildup of them like acting like they're going to rob him, whatever, and then doing it. It was just so quick in the moment that you're just like stunned. And I just think it's one of the best for that movie and the tone of that movie. I just thought that was a perfect end for that.
Yeah, that definitely was that was just like it was so confusing. Like it like play with your feelings, because you're trying to root for this guy to win this bet, and then it's just like, damn.
Yeah, he's on an all-time high. He's so happy. He's just so excited, thinking everything's solved for him, and then done.
Yeah, that was. Yep, I agree. God, this sucks. I'm gonna go with the scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker has infiltrated the hospital, and he goes and he kills the nurse, and then he obviously sets off the bomb. I mean, I guess you can also include him talking to Harvey, because that happens like right as he's about to do all that. The tension where he flips the coin and it's like whether he lives or dies. Obviously, he gets lucky, and he blows up the entire hospital. That it was just, and as he's trying to do it, he's just walking away. It's like perfect. I really that's like the embodiment of the Joker right there, captured in a single scene. That
I think
is what I would show.
I think of that scene, which even more like makes it a greater scene, is because it, you think it's like he's lucky, but if you watch, he has his thumb, so the hammer can't go off. So even if he lost the coin toss and Harvey pulled the trigger, the gun wouldn't have gone off. So that's why I think that scene's even greater too, because it is like an embodiment. You think he's some crazy guy, but it's like he has this all under control. He knows what he's doing. He's letting Harvey think that he's like, oh, we'll play your rules. We'll do the heads and tails. Like, you're in control right now. But it's like, no, the gun wouldn't have gone off anyway. So I think that scene even is better, knowing that the Joker is like, he's not just some crazy madman. He has like a plan the whole time, and he lets other people do what they think is the right thing to let them think they want. But he was the one in control.
Yeah, and like the whole time he's letting people on thinking he doesn't have a plan, that he's just like chaos. When in reality he is, but he has like a method behind the madness.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Cool. Two Dark Knight trilogy references. Well, here's one that I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned. Maybe it's going to be. But the Thanos snap in Infinity War. That is my number 2. It just had to be in my top 5. It was my number 1 for a long time, till obviously what my number 1 will be, mentioned in a bit. But hey, bad guy finally wins. It's still, I just remember being stunned in the theater, thinking, wow, is this really it? And then the movie's over. And it's just like, holy shit. Just goated scene.
Valid.
I made a mistake. I forgot about that scene.
Bro, what? What is wrong?
I made a mistake.
Literally the end of the movie.
The beginning, yeah.
You have,
the end.
I made a mistake. Well, that would be an honorable mention for me, I guess. But
no
honorable
mentions. No honorable mentions.
That's tough. I forgot. That's just wow.
That's crazy.
Not to say.
My number 2 for me is the ending of the movie Whiplash. I think that's some of the greatest choreography of Miles Teller playing the drums. This just everything about it, the way it's shot, how quick the camera is like going back and forth between him and J.K. Simmons, how it ends the movie. It literally is the final of the movie. Like, I love how there's nothing after it. You basically just get this insane, I don't know, it's maybe 10 minutes long. I think it's just an amazing 10 minutes. It's a great finale, but it's also just a phenomenally shot part of a movie. Everything about it is just perfect. And I love that so much. I love the character so much. There's even J.K. Simmons talking shit during it at points too, which was the highlight of that movie to me, of him just being an absolute demon. So yeah, the end of Whiplash, that drum solo of him playing with the band is just phenomenal.
Okay.
That is a good scene. That is a Blake ending though, so I respect it.
Yeah. Get out as quick as possible. That's what I'm trying to do with every movie. Fade to black as quick as you can.
Okay, Alex, what's your 2 that since you forgot?
Well, my number 2 is, of course, the Batman car chase scene in The Batman where he chases the Penguin. I mean, that is just perfect. The sound design in that scene alone with the fucking Batmobile is just eargasm. It's just beautiful. And I mean, I'm honestly jealous of you, Blake, that you got to see like the live orchestra play this scene live, because I think that I would honestly enjoy seeing that too. But I mean, this was just wow. Talk about riding high on a fucking scene with adrenaline. That's what that scene was for me, and it's still stuck in my mind. So like, I mean, I thought that because it was shown in the trailer that it would like kind of, ruin the experience, but hell nah, it did not. It did not ruin the experience. As a matter of fact, I think kind of elevated it because I was like, I wonder how they're gonna incorporate it, and they did it masterfully. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one that was a battle for that 5. So I get it.
Yeah,
that is a theater moment, I would say, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my number one had to be from my number one, and it's obviously the In Another Life. I would have really liked just doing laundry and taxes with you. I mean, that's just the pinnacle moment of when they realize that their love was actually real. Even when this man has everything and he is everything that she would ever want or dream of in a man, and he still just only wants her and could care less, is just a breaking point, and that's what changes everything. So, also is the moment that's a guarantee. It's going to either get me to teary eye or it is opening the floodgates, because that scene, just some reason, hits me like a motherfucker. So, has to be number one.
What a great scene, Josh. Thanks for sharing that. So my number one is Alex got the script apparently, because it's the Batman chase scene. It's a scene that I think is phenomenal, so much so that I went and saw it played in live orchestra playing the music because the score is phenomenal. I think that scene every time, from the start of the Batmobile to the end where he walks up to the car, I think is just phenomenal and will always get me to watch it no matter what it pops up on. I thought the score of that movie alone, seeing it with a live orchestra, just added so much to that scene. And the fact that they did that, and then as soon as he gets to the car, it cut, and that was intermission. And then to come back from intermission, they just played that song without the movie, and then just caught up as soon as they finished the song to them investigating the Penguin. So I got to hear it twice, and I just think it's phenomenal. I think everything about it, obviously him jumping over the explosion, it being used with, not just CGIing the entire thing, helps add to it just be incredible. And I just, for sure, I find it really hard that there's going to be a scene that tops that for a long time for me, because that is just the greatest scene to me. No questions.
Really? So neither of you have the snap, is what I'm learning from this.
Listen,
again,
I said
oversight.
One Marvel. I said I was doing one Marvel, and I was between the snap and Mjolnir, and I decided to go with the one that I get chills every time I see it. The snap is cool, and in the moment it was crazy, but to rewatch now, it doesn't give me the same effect that Captain America did.
Okay. My number one, I'm going to go with the same reason why Josh chose his number one, because it made him pretty much gets him teary eyed. And I just rewatched this movie a few days ago, and I was reminded, this is number one for a reason, and that is Logan in his final battle death scene. It was just, man, talk about tugging at your heartstrings. That just the final dialogue with him and Laura. It's just, man, I don't know. It's just it's always gets me, and it's it definitely gets me choked up. There's been times where I definitely had some tears run down my face, and it's just a brutal scene to finally see a character's at least the Fox version's character just come to an end that way, and what a beautiful ending to that character. It's definitely my number one.
A Logan reference. Okay.
Yeah.
That's valid. That's a good ass movie. Just did not expect it.
Yeah.
Me, bro. It's one of his favorite movies. It's always in the top 10. Guy's so fake.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this was a tough one. This was a tough video, to be honest. There's a lot of arguing in what should be where for my list. It was a battle. But that's going to do it for this video. Comment down below what your thoughts are on these scenes. Are there any scenes we're leaving out, or what are some of your guys' favorite? As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.